Hi all, thank you and welcome to my session, a data integration pipeline for a zip file in Azure Synapse Data Integration Pipeline or Azure Data Factory, which is the same thing. So in this session, we will process a zip file having a metadata file as well as list of PDF file or image file. So we'll process them, we will transform them, and then we will convert into a single JSON file. So that file we can pass into a REST API call, for example, to call a Salesforce API or CRM API or any other custom API. In this session, I have used a blob storage API, but in real client project, I have used a Salesforce API. So prepare a message and use the Salesforce API to insert the data into Salesforce system. So we will see this demo in this session. And this is a no code or low code solution, purely drag and drop components in Synapse Analytics. So this is me. I'm Alpa Buddhabhatti and I'm working as a lead Azure Data Engineer, as well as I provide training as well. You can find me in LinkedIn or Twitter, or you can find my blogs in Medium. And you can find a code for this session in GitHub as well. And you can see my YouTube channel have some other videos as well. So this is me. Now let's see today's agenda. So today's agenda is divided into two main parts. In first part, we're going to see a very quick overview of a Synapse data integration pipeline only. And then we're going to see a demo, and here we will process that zip file. So let's see overview of data integration pipeline. Actually, data integration pipeline is share a same code which we have in Azure Data Factory. So they are look similar and exactly, you will identify the same things, but it's slightly different in in Azure Data Factory, you will find components in different place, and here you will find the components in little bit different place as well. So that's a difference. So let's see a data integration pipeline in a Synapse Analytics. This is one of the component in a Synapse Analytics, and this is a no-code or low-code solution. But if you like to do a code first, then you can use other technique in a Synapse Analytics, and you use other components other than a data integration pipeline component. So it helps you to orchestrate and automate the data movement and transformation at a scale without writing a code. It is a part of the Synapse Analytics, as we said earlier. So it is a serverless and platform as independent as well, platform as a service as well. So you don't need to worry about complete infrastructure, software installation, web server configuration, or implementing your monitoring tool or similar things, because Azure will do it for you. So you can fully focus on implementation and you can build it very quickly. And because of this reason, you only pay for what you have used. So for data integration pipeline in Synapse Analytics, you won't get any charges. However, you get a small amount of charge for storage, which can be negligible. So for example, you have a data integration pipeline in Synapse Analytics and your pipeline is not running, then you won't get any other charges, but you will get very, very small amount of charge for storage, which can be negligible. It helps you to do no code or low code way. So you can build your solution by just drag and drop components, set some properties, and then select your source or sink, and that's it. So this way you can build your pipeline very quickly in here. And you can, you can run your pipeline as well. You can use the triggers as well, which we'll see later on. And it helps you to easily integrate with other Azure services, for example, Azure Function, Azure Logic Apps, Azure Databricks, Azure Machine Learning, Azure Data Explorer, and many other services. So you can very, very easily you can integrate here by few button clicks away. And you can easily integrate with the Git, because using the Synapse browser in data integration, you can set for a Git integration, you can choose a DevOps or Git, and you can few button clicks away, you can set up your Git repository here. So this is a data integration pipeline overview, but we will see now a key components of data integration. So there are 6 main components. So first one is the linked services. So link services is like, connection holder. It's hold the connection saying is authorize your data source. So your data source can be used in a other component in your data integration pipeline. So this is the first step. You will create a link service when you create your pipeline using the either Azure Data Factory or even use a Synapse Analytics. Next one is datasets. So datasets represent a metadata of your data or reference of your data. So, it can be in form of like table, file or folder. So let's see example. So for example, your link service is holding the connection string of a REST API. Then your data set in form of a JSON file. But if your link service is holding the connection string of Azure SQL database, then your data set in form of the table. And if your REST service link service is pointing to a blob storage, then your data set can be in like table file or folder format. So this is a data sets. It's a structure of your data. So you create link service, you create data sets, and then you create a pipelines. So before you create pipelines, there is a one component which is activities. So as we said, it's a no-code or low-code solution. So when what happens if you like to write down a logics where you have like for each loop or if conditions or something like that. So here for that you have activities. So activity do a specific task and it is a ready-made component. So you just need to drag and drop that activities. So you have a copy activity, you have machine learning activity, you have Databricks activity, and many more. Azure function activities and many more, as well as you have if activities, for each loop activity, and many. So you just drag and drop that activities in your pipeline, and you set some configuration. That's it. So it will have a logic there. So fourth one is the pipelines. So pipelines is like specific business outcome. If you have specific business requirement, so you will build that in your pipelines. And your pipeline is collection of activities which can be in a sequential or parallel or both of them. So once you have your pipeline ready with basically a logics which help to achieve your business outcome. So once you have ready your pipeline, you need to run your pipeline. So for that, you can use manual debug button or you can use triggers. So this is a fifth component in your data integration pipeline. So this trigger help you to trigger your pipeline based on a specific time or when file arrive or delete from your blob storage, or you can write down your own logic as well. So you can write down your code which can be in C# or Python or other language, which can be even PowerShell as well, or you can do in Azure function or Azure logic apps as well. So based on that code, your Azure Data Factory pipeline will trigger. So you can do that as well, which is a code first. It's not like no code or low code solution, but you can do that as well. So that is the fifth components which execute your pipeline based on some condition. And last but not least, it has an integration runtime. So as we said earlier, it's a serverless and platform as a service. But when it when you like to run your pipeline at that time, it need to have a like compute infrastructure. So integration runtime provide a compute infrastructure on live when it's needed. So there are three different kind of the integration runtime. First one is auto integration runtime, which is a default one, and it's Azure one, Azure default one. Next one is a self-hosted integration runtime. So when you have a source or a sink, either on premise, for example, it can be like SFTP or in your local machine, or like database like Oracle or SQL database or something like that. So at that time, you will use a self-hosted integration runtime, which is not Azure one, which is like we have to install in our local machine or in a whatever VM or like that. So it is, it's a very, it's provide a compute infrastructure. So that's why even though it's no code serverless or platform as a service and serverless, but when it's needed, integration runtime provide a compute infrastructure. So these are the main components in data integration pipeline, or same way you can say in Azure Data Factory as well. So now let's see next one, which is like moving a zip, like demo. And here we are moving a zip file from a SFTP, which I have installed in my local machine. And then I need to prepare that message so I can call the REST API. So let's see here. So this is SFTP I have installed in my local machine. And inside my SFTP, I have a zip file, which is the scan dot property dot data. And then inside I have a file. So I have a one metadata file, which is a CSV file, but you can have a JSON file or any other file as well, which can be a metadata file. And then I have a list of a PDF file, but it can have a list of image file as well. So this is my source, and I would like to convert it into like this format. Like data. So like I have a data from here, few data from here, and then I have this file as a base64 file. So here I have a file content as well as there are other property related to file 1. And then here I have a other property related to file 2 as well as content of the file 2 in here, which is a base64. So because I have 2 records, but if I have 100 record, then in this file I have 100 entries. But it has a base64, so actually it has a content of your PDF file in a base64. So this way I would like to convert my message, and then I would like to call a REST API. So in a client project, I have used a Salesforce API call. So I'm passing this information into a Salesforce API call to insert a data into a Salesforce system. But you can use Azure Function, Azure Logic Apps, Blob Storage as well, or CRM 665 API or any other API as well, REST API. So this is the basic scenario in our demo we will use. And in real time, why you need this? Because in real time, when I worked in client project, a client has a third party system as well. So third party system generate this zip file, which is scan property data, which is generated by third party company. And it's not a company, it's a software. So software is generating this file. And then in client project, we need to process this file. So that's why we have to use this way. So this is a simple high level like scenario. But now let's we see design as well. So this is my source and this is my sink, and this is we do transformation. So for that we have used here high level design. So for that you can see that I have a source which is SFTP, and I have a sink which is a blob storage. But you can have here a REST API, and you can have like Salesforce or CRM 365 or Azure Function or like any other. So, but I have just to use for simplicity purpose blob storage. And this is my data in my source file, and this is output which have a single JSON file, which then it called to REST API. And I have used Azure Key Vault as well for security purpose. So I have used Azure Key Vault for security purpose as well as to store a secret in a single place. So in this Key Vault, I have stored the secret for this SFTP as well as I stored the secret for the blob storage as well. And then I have a Azure Synapse Data Integration Pipeline, or you can have Azure Data Factory Pipeline in same place. And then here I have a pipelines, and this pipeline read a data from a SFTP through a self-hosted integration runtime, which I have installed in my local machine because I have a SFTP also in my local machine. So then pipeline will read this information, read this zip file, and it moves zip file into a Azure Blob storage. And then another pipeline or same pipeline, I have a web activity as well. And this web activity will use this information like URLs, key and message and header and those all things, because I have used a blob storage to store as a REST API URL. But you can use Salesforce as well. So here you have a little bit different parameters as well. So you just need to pass those parameters into web activity. That's it. Then web activity will execute and insert the data into Salesforce through a Salesforce API or maybe some other mechanism. But in our demo, for simplicity purpose, I have used a blob storage REST URL to just demonstrate this demo. So this is a high level design. Now let's go to demo. But before that, I would like to share here this one. So this is Win SCP, like SFTP. So I set up the SFTP in my local machine, and here you can see that I have this file. So this file it's in this folder. So when pipeline runs, it will copy this file into a blob storage. Okay, and this is the integration runtime. So I have installed the integration runtime in my local machine, and I have start this service here. So it's at the moment it's running, which is in my local machine. So if you like to know how you to set up the self-hosted integration runtime as well as a Win SCP in your local machine, then I have a document. I can share it with you via GitHub or some other way. You can email me if you need. So this is the two things in my local machine. And now let's go to in a browser. So this is Synapse workspace. So in order to do, to create a data integration pipeline in your Synapse Analytics, you need to create a Synapse workspace, and then you can create a data integration pipeline here. So once you create your workspace, then you need to launch your studio, Synapse Studio. Then you will see in here, and then these are the main components even in a Synapse data pipeline as well, here as well. So you can monitor your pipelines through here, which is same as Azure Data Factory, exactly same. So once it's run, you will see here. Actually it's not running here because it's run in Azure Data Factory in here. I will tell you why. Because I have installed the self-hosted integration runtime based on Azure Data Factory earlier, and in this demo I supposed to do in different laptop. It's not working at the moment. So we will run demo in here, but you will see same code we have in both place. Only difference is self-hosted integration runtime I have to install in same machine for a Synapse Analytics. But at a time you can install the one integration runtime. You cannot install both integration one runtime in a same machine. So that's why we will run demo in here Azure Data Factory, but we will see here code. So you can monitor here. You can manage your other components as well as other components in Synapse as well, like related to Synapse here as well. But this is a link service which related to data integration pipeline. So this is a link service, and these are the main 4 link service we have used in this demo, because we have used Azure Key Vaults. So this is the one, you can taste it here as well. That's it. So first you need, if you want to use keyboard, then you need to create a keyword link service, which is a parent link service, child link service, and then you can use in your blob storage here. So this is the one which is auto integration runtime as well, because at the moment my file in a blob storage for that, and you can taste it here as well like that. Yeah. And this link service will not work because integration runtime I haven't installed based on Synapse Analytics in my this laptop, but you will see it here, and it will fail as well anyway, so I'm not going to test it. So these are the link service we have used for this demo, and then here you can see that this is the integration. So here you will build your pipeline, and this look exactly same as you have in your Azure Data Factory. It's actually it's sharing same code because I have used the same GitHub repository using in both place. So this is my pipeline, but we will see later on. And these are the activities. As I said, it has a lot of activities. So you can see that it has Azure function. It has a general activity like if and like other activities as well, like lookup activity, script activity, and many other activities. And this one is iteration, condition and iteration. So you can see here as well, there are so many activities. You just need to drag and drop, which I will show you later on if we have a time. So these are the activities, and this is our pipelines. And so when you create your pipeline in here pipeline section, You can use this button, or you can add here as well by just clicking here, or you can browse from gallery as well. And here you will have your data sets in a data section. So you can see that this is integration data sets, and you can see that this is the data set for this demo. And you will see integration runtime in here. Integration runtime and link service in a managed tab, which is same in Azure Data Factory as well. But data set is separate one, because data set is separate in Azure Data Factory, because Azure Data Factory all in one, but here you have in a data section. That is a different. And here you will have your data flow. So, and here you can preview it, because for here I'm using the auto integration runtime, because I'm using the data from blob storage for data flow. So we can preview as well here by just clicking here. We need to wait for some time because it's turn on the Spark cluster. So only thing is, if you don't need it, you can turn it off, because otherwise it will get charged for every hour. So you can turn it off, and it will take some times because it's spin up the cluster as well. And actually my machine also today is slow as well, everything internet and other things. So but generally it's quick as well. So same, while it's doing that, I can show you same thing in here as well. I have exactly same code, everything is same, but here you will see that my link service is working because I have set up the integration runtime correctly. So this is my integration runtime, which pointing to a integration runtime which I have in my local machine installed. So this is the URL of my local machine, and these are the keys. And you can see that here also I have used Azure Key Vault to store two things: password as well as this uh, user pass as well as SFTP key as well. So this information coming from Key Vaults, and when I test it here, you will see that it will connecting successfully because I have turned on here. This service is working. So this is the one. I think it's very slow. Yeah, it's successfully working here. So if I delete this integration runtime in my local machine and I install it again based on a Synapse Analytics, then it will work in Synapse as well. Same thing. So we have seen this. We have seen pipeline as well. So I'm just going to see this one. So we have same code as well because it's shared code, and they're both using the GitHub repository as well. So let's run. But before running, I would like to show you few components. So this is the key vaults which I have used to store the secrets. So you can see that here I have these secrets. I have blob storage connection string, as well as I have this one for this demo, SFTP host, SFTP key fingerprint, as well as user and password as well. This information I stored in Key Vault. And then I have to give access policy here. So if you want your Azure Data Factory or your Azure Data Synapse data integration pipeline need to connect to Key Vault, then you need to give a access policy. So you can see that this is my Synapse and this is my Data Factory, which using this Key Vault because I gave a access permission, access policy. Then it will work. Otherwise, it will fail there in a link service. Okay, so that is the one component. Another component is a blob storage. So blob storage is my intermediate sync as well as final sync as well, because my source is SFTP, then it's move a file into blob storage and then it transform and process and then finally call to a REST API. But here I have used a blob storage REST API, so it's the same thing. So here file will move from SFTP to blob storage in here, and here you will see final output, but at the moment it's empty. But once we run, you will see data in a single file. And this is a zip file, but it's look like this. And see here I have data, and you will see that what data I have in my source file as well. So these are the data. So like this property 1, which is this file, and this property 2 is 2. But in ideally you have millions of millions data, but I have used very less data to prove this concept. So that is my file, and this my 2 PDF file. So this is my source. I can delete this file. So we will get idea once a pipeline will run. It will move here. That is the first steps. Move a data from SFTP to here. So this is empty. This container is empty. So once I run my pipeline here, so while it's running, we can check here information as well. So this is my first step, which move a data from SFTP to blob storage. And here you will see that source is the SFTP, and this is the file. As I said, we are moving here. We are moving this file, which is in this folder, which is a scan.property.data zip file. We are moving that file from machine to blob storage. So that's why you can see that here, this file we are moving. So that is our source, and we are moving into blob storage, which is a zip demo this in file, okay, in folder container. So that is our thing. So once this first step will execute, you will see it's executed. So when we see in a blob storage, and when I refresh this now, you will see file has moved. Actually it's look like this. So this is a container. So it's exactly same name with a def extension. It create a folder, and inside you have these files. Okay, this is exactly the same file which we seen earlier as well. You can see again. So these are the one. So in my single JSON file, I have 2 records with how many fields? So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fields, but in a JSON file, I have one additional field, which is this file, content of this file in here, as well as here file 2. So this is my source, and let's see here. It's still running because it's turn on maybe debugger, Spark cluster for a data flow. So while it's running, so here I am calling the data flow because why? So if we go here, let's zoom little bit. So you see here that I have a metadata file, which is CSV file, which has 2 records, and I have a list of PDF file. So if here I have a 2 records, that means here I have a 2 files, a separate PDF file or image file. So that's why I'm reading them. So you can preview here as well. Let's preview from here. So I'm previewing my data. It can have a more than whatever data you have in here, like total in that folder, you will see 3 records. If you have 100 PDF file, then you will see 101 record, because one CSV file and 100 file for this. So at the moment it showing 3 records, because 2 records for 2 PDF file and 1 record for metadata CSV file itself. And you will see data here as well, like this. So this is the one. And then here I have using derive column, because now I want to read my PDF or image file, actual file for that particular record. And I need to do same for all records as well. So I'm introducing one field, which is a PDF base 64. And here you will see it's converting into base 64 as well. And then here I'm joining them with this metadata file, because I need other properties. I need a date, I need a reference, and there are a few more fields which we have in CSV file. I need that as well. So that's why I have joined them here. And then finally I'm storing into blob storage. So if we go to here now, uh, so it's still running it, but let's see here, it's fully finished. Um, let's go to back here. Yeah, it's finished. The green means finished. So once it's apply some process and apply some transformation, and it's ready, a message ready for applying API, Salesforce API or any other API, then we call that API. So for that you need web activity, and you need to use a URL and few other properties. But here I have used this REST URL of blob storage, and I'm placing the file. But you need to do same thing. You need to have a URL of our self force API or other APIs as well. You select method, you select message as well, and then you will pass these two information, which is main one, and that's it. So now if I check here in blob storage, which is this container, so you will see a data as well, which is this. So now this will exactly match with two records, but it has one additional field, which is actual content of your file, which can be image file or can be a PDF file or any other file, because we have used a base 64. So this is the one. So you will see the file name. Also, it has additional field, which is a file name as well. So this is the file name. This is the base 64 content, and it has the extra field as well, because we need a date and reference and something. Let's see here, because whatever we requested, it you will see that. So we requested how many fields? These fields we requested. So let's see preview here itself. So whatever it comes from your source, because we have auto mapping, so that's why you will see all fields. If you have two fields, then you will see two, three, then three, like that. So it will see file name, this one data, and so these all fields coming from CSV file, and this is coming from a PDF or image file. This one not needed, it's extra one, and this file name which we using the derive column for that as well. So now we go back here. So for that you will see that here we already seen here, as well as we checked the property here as well. We only need to check here sync. So yeah, we placing this file into here, which is input again from SFTP to blob. And I think one more thing is here. So this sync is where is placing the file, is placing the file in a single file, and is placing file in a let's open this in a zip.demo file, which this final file. So let's go back here. So that's the one is done in here. It placed the file in this container, which is this one, final one, which we have seen recently. So same thing, it will work in a Synapse as well, because it's using exactly same things. Code also same, everything is same. Only thing is integration runtime. So when I create integration runtime in here, this one, it's very easily you can create as well. So you create integration runtime like this way, and then you give a suitable names, you select a region, and I think which one is this? Yeah, no, see, self-hosted one, because we have SFTP. Self-hosted one, then this one, self-hosted, and then here you give suitable name, and you give description, and then when you create here, it give you proper instruction as well. So you just need to follow that instruction in order to set up a self-hosted integration runtime in your machine. That's it. Then it will definitely. So this key is important, and you need to, like, first step is to launch this one and do, and then download and install that with this key. That's it. Then it will set up in here, and then it will know that this is a Synapse Analytics one. So that's why. So at the moment it's using because in one machine you cannot have more than one. So this is a demo. Now let's go back here. So we have seen this demo, but you can use for more complex scenario as well. I have used same thing for a Salesforce API with a little bit more complex scenario transformation as well in my client project. So with that, I would like to thank you for attending this session, and now I open with a question.